Today, we'll demonstrate 7 mission solutions using an educator-style robot, and we'll share 4 rack and pinion designs. Now let's talk about rack and pinion. A rack and pinion converts the circular motion of your motor into linear motion, including horizontal and vertical. I'll demonstrate 4 different types of rack and pinion on the basketball hoop mission to show how they work. This design uses a pre-built rack and housing. When the motor spins this gear, the rack raises like a forklift. You can see the major drawback is you're stuck with this predetermined height, which is pretty short. So this design will only get you to the middle height of the mission. Sometimes we use tank tread as a rack because it's easy to construct and you can make it really tall. It also has plenty of strength to lift the basketball hoop. To build it, place a tank tread gear onto the motor and the other side, add some beams and tensionizing gears, and then wrap the chain around like this. You can add a panel on to the front to do the basketball hoop. Tank tread is versatile. Here's an example from our City Shaper game. Next, we have what we call the tire rack. To build this, all you need is a large motor, a tire, and enough beams for the height you want. Use a couple of picture frames and bushings to secure the tire's axle. On the back, you'll see the rack glides on this panel, but if you don't have one, you can use beams. The downside is this tire can slip because it's not a gear with teeth, so be sure you build in limit points where the rack bottoms out and maxes out at each end. And set your programming on time versus degrees or rotations. Last is the brick rack. It's the hardest to build and requires the most parts, but it's good because the height is customizable like the last two, and it doesn't lose grip, so you can measure it using odometry, and you'll know the exact position based on your programming. The device is in 2 separate pieces, the housing and the rack. The rack pieces are attached to brick beams like you see in this sample, and that's why we call it brick rack. Technic beams are attached on both sides of the brick beams so it can slide into the housing. For the housing, you'll need a gear attached to your motor with an axle and stabilized with L-hooks and T-pieces. Then, encase the rack using long beams, I-frames, and binoculars. You need a tight fit so the gear meshes with the rack, and the rack shouldn't wobble around. Thanks for watching.